It's contact@myesnc.com. We are also more than willing to set a personal in-person meeting, a one-on-one in-person meeting with you if you have particular issues. Also know that we have an assortment of resources. The police department is here, and you can certainly connect with our ordinance officer and 311 and Sue Haley Arce, who is the community police liaison, and she can be reached at 787-6359. So there are many opportunities to get your situations heard and get some resolution. Get this off my screen. Okay. I lost my screen share.
Yeah, for some reason we're
somehow we lost our screen share.
We're not getting your screen share. Yes.
Okay, well.
There we go.
Okay.
There we
some
go.
reason we're getting it. Oh, it's a little hard to share. A little hard to see. I guess I'll.
Yeah.
Please remind me next time to make it bigger. Well, let me talk through it really quickly. City services, again, please call 311. It is the most efficient way to get information to the appropriate people.
Excuse me, Kathy.
Yeah.
If you go into where it says slideshow, click on slideshow. Slideshow. Click on that. Then go from beginning all the way to the left.
Thank you.
Or you could have done from current.
All right. Well, all right.
We'll let you know. You can scroll through.
Now we're in better shape. Thank you again.
Yes. Yep.
All right.
That's a little better.
That's a little better. Not much, but a little better next time. Eastman, we want to again thank Eastman for their continued support of our businesses and residents in East Springfield. And we want to remind you that the federal government funding is, the federal government funding is still available. And if anybody has any ideas, they can send them to Tom Moore at springfieldcityhall.com. Thank you. The marijuana host community agreements they're in process. They've been negotiated, and as I said before, 311's has been approved, and so has the facility at Brookdale and Cottage Street. The special permit, the Suboxone proposal for Cottage Street was voted down by the city council, but unfortunately another city department gave them permission. We are not happy. We are looking to figure out what can be done about that. The reality is there's probably not a whole lot that can be done right now, except some monitoring. Special permit for 1635 Page Boulevard. Danny Hanoush did request, and it's going to go to the city council at the next week. Duck Pack from East Long Meadow, they purchased and will be locating to Page Boulevard. The city council did approve the TIF, the tax incentive financing package, last night. And the plaza has been foreclosed. There was the foreclosure auction that was held on October 14th at noon. The people who owned it before, who held the keys before, owed just shy of $30 million on that property. And at this point, the bank bought it back through auction. So it's in the possession of the bank. And I expect that the same people who have been keeping it clean for the past year will continue to keep it clean, because I met with them on the 14th. So we had that conversation. But we don't know what the future of the plaza brings. Traffic, the Page Boulevard and Bircham Street traffic study is to begin this month, and it should be completed this fall. It's a fairly short turnaround. And the Mass DOT, St. James Avenue, Crew Street project has sent to anyone who commented on their project, on the project, some kind of a response. If you commented and you didn't get a response to your letter or email, please reach out to the DOT and find out what their response is. Okay, I did neglect to go around the room and tell people who was in the room, but we have, on the other computer, we have with us John Koski tonight, and then we have Marie Koski, and we have Dave Russo, and we have Angie Sevigna. I always say that wrong. We have Officer Julio Vasquez. We have Charles Rux. we have, in the way back, we have Irene Kennison, and then we have Lieutenant Arpin and Brenda Spalding. We have Farah Rodriguez. We have Peggy Shea, and I'm Kathy Brown. Okay. Are there any questions on anything I've run over so far? Anything from anybody? All right, we will then move along to the beat management team portion of this meeting. John Kosky is the chairperson of the beat management team, and I will let you introduce the team and go from there.
Very good. Good evening, everyone. We have with us this evening from the police department, we have Lieutenant Sean Arpin. We have our ordinance officer, Julio Vasquez, and we have zooming into the meeting, Sue Haley Arce, who's the community liaison, responsible for community liaison in the police department. We also have, and once we go through the police beat, we have Angie Savageau, who represents the sheriff's department, and Charles Rux with us tonight with the sheriff's department. So lots of good folks with us. Appreciate everybody being here. And Lieutenant Arpin, it's you can let us know what's been going on in the neighborhood for the past month. That would be great.
Okay, this covers from September 12th to October 9th. On the Schedule 1 crimes, look very good. We have one aggravated assault, 665 Cottage Street on October 8th. A suspect named Gerard Boutin was assaulted by another employee at the PVTA Parks Department. I'm not even sure, but I've never been there. On October 7th. So this.
That's on Cottage Street, sir?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it happened on October 7th. He's reporting it on the 8th. Apparently he got into an argument with another employee in the Parks Department, and it resulted in that subject whipping apart, striking him in the face, causing cuts that required stitches. So we decided to, after getting out of the ER, we decided the next day to file a complaint. So that's in the process. That little complaint. One burglary, break B&E, 790. Know that there's only before.
Only thing taken were scissors and tape. They believe it's somebody internally messing around doing something, so not really sure if that's just going to be an internal thing. Nothing major there. One theft from a motor vehicle, 109 Cadwell Drive from Horizon Sheet Metal. Left the vehicle unlocked and claimed there was a $50 bill in it, and that was taken. Motor vehicle theft, 1635 Peach Boulevard. Says communications. Employee shows up in the morning and notices one of the trucks isn't parked where it usually is parked, one of the work trucks. So he checked the GPS, to all GPS apparently, and it pinged at 30 Cottage Street. So there, unoccupied. No, it was. That was unoccupied. I leave the keys in the visor at night, not very smart. But somebody did cut the padlock to the access key, and GPS showed throughout the night where it stopped somewhere on Free Street for a while, but ultimately ended up in 30 Cottage Street. Also in the process, they ran looking into the video, and this found locating a hole in their fence where apparently people have been sneaking in the path of grass flattened and stealing unknown amounts of wire that they carry on, that they keep on large poles. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. That's it for Schedule 1 crimes. And, it doesn't say where, but I'm assuming it's gotta be sector C. Looks like, the firearm unit, which is the old narcotic unit, somewhere on Carew Street. And, the suspect was, Eric Ryan White. And he lives in Chicopee. They got him with a firearm, loaded firearm, and some warrants and various other charges. Somebody was grabbed at the Racing Mart at 1037 St. James Avenue with default warrants. That suspect was Leo. He was just grabbed for non-licensed operation of vehicle. Let's see, calls. There was one call during that time frame for unnecessary noise. It was on time. One call. I guess. Suspicious activity, 5 calls. One was a duplicate, nothing there. Suspicious motor vehicle, 7 calls. And nothing really. Oh, a vehicle was towed on one of them. 9594 Pine Street.
That was on 24th at 2:22 in the morning. Everything else checks out there. There were 11 complaints of suspicious person. One looks like resulted in the arrest. That was the 1037 St. James Avenue arrest. Where the subject had arrest once. So. Suspicious, unnecessary noise calls, there were 21. 28 Devon Street, 2nd floor, they were advised. 11, 16 Page Boulevard, subjects there were advised. 1544 Carew Street, advised. 197 Monrovia, they were advised to turn down whatever. There was a report made for 50 Fernwald. For the unnecessary noise. They were advised at 86 Canton. Advised at 96 Industry Avenue, Cottage Hill Church. That's it for July. Hotspot calls. That was 85 Fernwald. Person was gone. Yep, that pretty much covers everything. The only other thing I'd like to add, Kathy, you want me to mention that? The deputies or?
Why don't we hold off and let it all come together first, I think, so.
Okay, well, that's all I have
Thank you.
for that one, but I need to be at these reasonably.
Well, that's good to hear. Yes. Question.
In the incident where the 2 people employees were fighting, and one was hurt, when you arrive on the scene, how do you know who's the perpetrator and who's the?
Well, the guy that it happened the previous day, so it's a past report. The guy got medical treatment and then decided to, so we weren't informed of this until the next day. So at that point, we wouldn't make an arrest. At that point, we would now go through the courts. He would get summons in, and then a judge would determine whether there's witnesses or which side of the story to believe or whatever, but if he doesn't show up, he would be arrestable. But, we just basically take the report based on the honor system. And I don't know, I didn't read the report as to if there's any witnesses in the store or not. But again, that would be, we just go on probable cause, so for a judge to decide whether or not, determine, if somebody's telling the truth.
So for our folks at home, we have a little bit of a technical challenge here. We've tried to use a Bluetooth speaker, but for whatever reason, when we use a Bluetooth, that's that unit I brought over there. It breaks up for folks listening from home. So what we're using now is on top of the TV, there's a camera with a green light that's also our microphone. So I know how difficult it is with these on to speak up, but we almost have to use our out in the field coaching a soccer team voice for folks to be able to hear us. So just if we can do that as much as we can, that's great. And you have an even bigger challenge than being at the back end of the room. So.
I'm usually accused of being loud.
Yeah. Okay, so folks at home, we're zooming in, bear with us. And before the next meeting, we're going to take a peek at moving this fixed camera so it's closer to us and see if we can still get everybody in the room, but get a little better sound quality and not make everybody have to holler too loud so that you can hear us. So, anyways, you all set, Charles? Very good. Anyone else who's zooming in have any questions? Maybe there was something that the lieutenant said that maybe there's something he said you didn't hear, or you have a question about an issue in the neighborhood. Now's a good time to ask it. You can type it here in the chat, or we can go in and I think I can unmute everybody.
You can unmute, yeah.
No, I need to see how to.
They can unmute themselves.
Right,
If you want to speak,
right,
just
you can
speak up.
unmute, right. You can, everybody can unmute themselves and ask a question if there's any questions. If not, and I don't see any questions, that's a good thing, I guess. So, then if there aren't any questions, Julio Vasquez, our ordinance officer.
Okay, monitoring Mallory Villas with the firearms and narcotics unit. They have an ongoing investigation. Doing directive patrols inside the village. Putnam Circle, Fernwell, Farragut Street. Also doing directive patrols on Page Boulevard corridor between St. James and 291. I'm also doing directive patrols on St. James Ave and St. James Boulevard. As some people have noticed, there have been uniformed patrol officers doing traffic deployments on Page Boulevard and St. James Ave. I'm also monitoring the schools with the traffic and parking at St. Bowles and Mary Pottinger. I've also advised a couple of homeless subjects that have been inside Marshall Roy congregating during school hours. Monitoring Page Boulevard, Watson Street, Curve Street for the noise complaints. I'm staying in touch with Clean City about shopping carts and illegal dumping. Also keeping an eye on Linnell Street and Lang Street, which seems to be a popular spot for illegal dumping. I was with Clean City in the Parks Department on Anthony Street last week, or about a week and a half ago. They cleaned the tree belt and the weeds. And they also reached out to other source again about the trees dangling around the wires. Keeping an eye on 276 Cottage Street, which is vacant, and making sure that the owner of the property keeps it clean.
Very good. I don't see any questions yet, so you can anybody can unmute themselves from home. Just a few things that have come up over the month with neighborhood communications. One was I was asked to contact the traffic bureau to see if we could get one of the portable radar speed boards placed between Hobart Street and Plaza Drive, that northbound section of St. James Avenue. Apparently, some of the neighbors up there have seen an increased level of speeding traffic, I guess, when people trying to make the green light up there at the intersection where the plaza is. So we put that request in, and of course, that's on an available basis, so we'll track that. Also learned that I haven't spoken with the people directly, but there's some folks that about the park here. They live on the street that's it's your street, Irene, and that's not Detroit Street, it's Fordham Street. That runs parallel to the back end of the park over here. And over by the jungle gym play area and a splash park, there's a row of evergreens between the fence to the park and just inside the fence. And apparently there are people that are going in there and they're using it as a toilet. And it's not just they're using it as a toilet one way, they're using it as a toilet all ways. And I guess it's really causing an issue for some people that abut that area with the smell. So it's something that I don't know how much we can do from a policing side of things, but maybe, I don't know, Kathy, that we can reach out to the Parks Department and maybe trim those bushes up so it's not a private area anymore, or remove the bushes. So it's not a private area where people can go in there and stay in there and do whatever. Blind attack on that, I guess.
That makes sense, John. That makes sense.
Yeah, we could, I think that would eliminate some of that. Appreciate all the help with you and with the traffic bureau with the deployments. We saw one of them today, working down by the radar speed board at St. James, so we appreciate that. That extra effort is appreciated. We got a question. Oh, okay, here we are. From Elizabeth, there seemed to be a lot of action going on Price Street. Many different things. Any updates? Kathy, do you have any?
The cage. was removed already.
So that's one of them.
That cage was removed already,
Okay,
and I haven't seen anything else on Price Street.
so the
Not
rooster,
that I'm aware of anything else.
okay, the rooster and the chicken that was on Price Street it's been removed. Oh, very good, very good. The area around Walgreens is very dark, lots of suspicious people hanging outside that store. Can anything be done about that and the lack of lighting? And I assume Walgreens, right up here on St. James Boulevard.
Is it right outside the front door, or is it in the parking lot?
Okay, yes. Maria, can you tell us more specifically where the people are hanging around?
You just unmute if you
You
want to,
can
Maria.
unmute yourself, Maria, if you know how to do that. And speak directly.
Sure. It's kind of like outside the sidewalks and the parking lot when you're going to your car. There's just a lot of people like begging for money and just kind of hounding you, I guess, and begging. And there's lack of lighting, so it's kind of dangerous to go in and out of the store.
So that's on St. James Boulevard, not on the Crew Street side of Walgreens, is that correct? On the side of Walgreens that the front door is? She's muted again. Oh, okay. I'm assuming that that's where it is, because that's where you would walk in to the store.
You can't hear anyone? Maria, maybe it's when you muted yourself. I can, okay, good.
We didn't do anything.
So I think you still hear us okay.
I guess
So-
we'll have to figure out, we'll have to.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes,
Okay, I'm so sorry. I was saying the sidewalk in the front and the back of the store and the parking lot when you're trying to go in and out There's just a lot of people like asking for money and spare change and, just kind of following you around.
All right, we'll look into it. I wasn't really aware of.
Right.
And I drive by there quite often. I didn't notice. Is there a time frame?
Is there a time frame, Maria?
Or is it all
Um,
day?
Pretty much all day, but I guess it's the scariest as it's starting to get darker earlier now, and there doesn't seem to be adequate lighting.
Yeah, I unfortunately, I only really go through there during the daytime, but I can't remember. I don't think they have any lights on the side of the building or anything else.
I don't go there very often myself. Lieutenant, can you hear the lieutenant okay?
Sorry.
That's okay. Can you hear the lieutenant okay?
Yes.
Okay, good.
I mean, lighting is always like a good approach to
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
I don't know, me telling them or you trying to talk to them, you guys trying to talk to them and make contact with them, I'm sure management wouldn't have a problem with doing that, if it avoids
Because,
problems for their customers, I would think.
because management has the right to ask people who are panhandling to leave. Is that correct?
Yeah.
So what we'll do is,
And we're really,
Right.
our arms are tied in that too.
right, yeah,
We've made too many arrests on that. They never do anything with them. So now unless they're really, really aggressive, it's kind of like, you're not supposed to, take their freedom away and arrest them, and try to push them along. But I think light is always been key in the last, since the eighties, is
Yeah.
lighting those areas. So if they could put some kind of really high power
okay,
lights on the side, I wouldn't see how they would have a problem.
right.
I don't really, I could suggest it to them, but I think it needs to come from somebody
Right.
of your guys' caliber that lives here.
Sounds like we'd have more of an impact as a neighborhood council, so we'll do that. The neighborhood council will reach out to management at that store and bring that to their attention, and, they do have the right to go out and ask people who are panhandling to leave on private property. They can-
Right, and then we would start working with the fact that, then they would call us, I told them to leave, now I want them trespass, now he
Right.
becomes arrestable the next time.
Okay, all right, so
That's
we will,
kind of the way we have to go through,
Yep.
unless they're like aggressively, like pressuring you into giving them $1 out of, you know what I mean?
right,
And how often does that happen? You know what
right,
I mean?
typically it is. So we'll do, we'll reach out to them, we'll let them know what they can do, and then we'll let them know that there is a level of police enforcement that can get involved in their own efforts to ask people to leave. So-
And that would be without disclosing my information, correct? My name or anything?
Oh, no, we won't share. No, it'll just be, we have received some feedback from the neighborhood.
We will also reach out to Hungry Hill, just
Oh,
because,
yes,
because
that's-
technically that's
okay.
in the Hungry Hill neighborhood. So we will reach out to them to let them know that there's a concern about that. The other piece of information is, Walgreens rents that property, so we can reach out to the property owner also to make sure the property owner is in the loop, just understanding that, there's something that's been,
Right.
talked about for that property. So
Right.
we'll try to do those things. If you want to get back to us in a week or so, we'd be glad to connect with you and let you know, the status.
Awesome, thank you.
Any other questions or issues we'd like to just have discuss with Julio?
I do.
Very good, thank
You
you.
do?
Oh, go ahead, Brenda.
Yeah, the first thing we checked out was the 239.
239 St. James Avenue.
Supposedly the upstairs tenant was there. On the porch, the house is boarded up on the bottom level.
There. I wasn't aware that.
I think he clears out with a bus stop for the kids across the street. So when that chair is pulled out, it gives them a privacy. He said, I think he's getting out early because the kids are, there's a foot-side bus stop. Are there? But today the medic back on the front yard, You know how he picks up cans and metals and
Mhm.
washers? It's back on the front row there.
Okay,
There's so many things
I'll
back,
monitor it and I'll keep an eye out.
but the bank owns that house.
Okay.
Manning pays rent.
Thank you, Brent.
Yeah.
I have one thing, John.
Yeah, okay.
Sue Haley wanted to be sure that we announced that the DEA National Drug Take Back is Saturday, October 23rd, from 10 o'clock to 2 o'clock at Central High School in the parking lot. So what we're hoping is that you will look through your cupboards and your medicine cabinets and bring those medicines to the drop-off where they will be then disposed of efficiently. You do not have to take anything out of a bottle. You can just bring it in a little bag and just drop the whole bag off. So there's no need to sort through your pills. You just bring them and drop them off. And then they will be disposed of that day over at Bondi's, and everybody will be safer. Thank you very much.
Just a follow-up to the Price Street question. I know there was the issue of some chickens on the street, and that's been resolved. But I guess the person who was interested or had some concerns is there's a duplex at 3739. And yesterday and today, there were police officers there, and there may be some fighting going on. I don't know if there's an issue there, or if there's anything anybody knows about what might be happening at that
I'm not
address.
aware of anything at the duplex.
So we're, it
Is it 3739 what?
Price Street,
Price?
Price, P-R-I-C-E. So the officers here aren't aware of any activity, and the lieutenant's waiting that address down just to take a, go back and take a,
Said there were police there for some unknown reason today?
let's see, it says, yeah, yesterday and today,
Really?
yes.
I'll have to look into it.
So Lieutenant Harpen's gonna look into that.
The other thing that just struck me is that, Lieutenant, you mentioned that one of those vehicles that was missing, it was pinged or
Yeah,
the
wondered if
GPS went to Price Street.
probably selling drugs or something.
Yeah,
Probably
yeah.
stopped there and cashed in some of the copper or something.
Right.
If I look out,
So we'll
pretty coincidental.
take a look. Yeah, it's pretty coincidental. Okay, thank you.
Very good. All right. Okay, so if there isn't anything else for our police officers, then certainly we'd love to hear from Angie, if anything from the sheriff's department you'd like to share with us.
I don't have anything at this time.
Okay. Very good. And Charles?
No, I'm doing the comment.
All right. Very good. You never know. Yes. Kathy.
I just have one more comment. I must have missed it on the agenda. We are having an event. The neighborhood council is having an event on November 27th. It's our East Springfield tree lighting extravaganza. There will be more information out on that. If anybody's interested in helping us with that, please let us know. It's going to be a fun event with music and food and crafts, and the sheriff's department's canine dog's going to be there. Santa will be there, and we will also be providing COVID vaccines and flu shots. But there'll be more information, but I just didn't want to lose the opportunity to say that at this meeting. Thank you.
Okay. All right.
All right.
Well, that sounds good. Just, I know you probably have it in your overhead someplace, but, and actually you're right there. Okay, good. That's what I was just gonna talk about. Oh, let me just check this out of the way so we can see what's going on here. Okay, yes. Check your speed. We had talked about doing another check your speed before the end of October, but that I don't think we're gonna be able to do that. Of course, we know that, the clocks roll ahead by an hour at the end of this month, and performing a check your speed in the afternoon during those hours, the winter hours, we just don't have enough daylight to do that. So we've had a pretty busy year, I think, with check your speeds. The weather's cooperated all, but I think one time. So we're gonna hold off scheduling a check your speed. Our next one will be we'll kick it off probably around April next year. We'll start those events up.
Great.
Okay,
Last chance, questions,
questions?
comments? Our next meeting will be November 2nd. It'll be a virtual meeting. At this moment, we have a tentative schedule for the cultivation marijuana location at 299 to come and speak with us briefly about their request for a special permit. I'm waiting for confirmation that that's the actual date, but they will be going to city council, we believe, at the end of November for their special permit for the 299 Page Boulevard marijuana cultivation establishment. But other than that, November 2nd, 2021, and you can contact us at contact@myesnc.com. Thank you very much. Have a great night.
Kathy,
Yes, my friend.
you know the face painting and that event November 27th. Where is that supposed to be?
The event will be here at Marshall Roy Field.
Oh, all right. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we will see.
And what time is it at? What's the time?
From 2 to 5:30, to 2 to 5.
2 to 5. Thank you.
Welcome. Okay. Thank you very much, everybody. We'll see you in a couple of weeks. All right, we can just. End it.
All right.
Right? Oh, yeah.
Turn over to the dark side up there.